Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you about how you can use complexity to get your players fully invested in the encounter. These tips come from page 104 of the 4th edition Dungeon Master's Guide, and if you want a copy of this book for yourself, I will put a link down in the description. The ultimate challenge for any dungeon master is to design encounters that are interesting for the players. Ideally, you want every player at the table focused on the task at hand and working together with the other players to achieve the goal. To get this level of focus from the players, you need to present them with a challenge that cannot be solved with basic attacks or skill rolls. Victory can only be achieved by implementing a solid plan. This is where encounter complexity comes in. It is important to note that complexity is not the same as difficulty. Difficulty has to do with how hard the encounter will be for the character to overcome. How do the stats of the monsters and the NPCs stack up against the stats of the characters? Complexity is all about the players. It involves coming up with elements that require the players themselves to have to think about strategy and all the things that are not directly measured in stat blocks. Complexity comes in many forms. The player might be in a social encounter where they have to try to navigate the relationship with a critical NPC. The complexity comes from understanding the background of this NPC and using the knowledge that they have gained so far in the campaign to make sure that they say the right things. Or maybe they're exploring a dungeon and the party finds themselves in a room with no exits when they know there must be a hidden passage somewhere. Skill checks will certainly come into play, but where should the characters look? What stones should they push on? Why is that torch flickering? These are the things that the players will need to pay attention to in order to solve the problem. Or a combat encounter with swords that are swinging across the space like deadly pendulums, or a bridge that is slowly retracting. The characters cannot simply walk across the room and strike the enemies. They must give attention to the location itself and plan their attacks carefully. Note that these examples don't necessarily make the encounter more difficult, they just force the party to work together to formulate a plan. At a minimum, they require the players to pay attention to what is going on around them. If you feel that your players are not as committed to the encounters as they should be, then think about ramping up the complexity of the encounters. They will quickly find that there are penalties for their characters if they aren't paying attention. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments about some of the more complex encounters that you have put together. Until next time, take care.